So the first step is call council. So call your local council, say, give them your address over the phone, and they'll be able to tell you straight away if it's permissible or not. So they'll tell you if it's the right zone, and then they'll even point you in the right direction of what development controls to look at and things like that. So do that as step one. All right, so that's the easiest. They'll tell you straight away yes or no.
So you're looking at buying a block, or you already have a block. First step is to go to council.
Yep. So if that's what your purpose of buying the block is, then you bring the council with the lot and DP number, which you can get from the salesman off the contract. And you say, this is the block I'm looking at buying. I'm looking at buying it for this purpose. Will I be able to do it? And council will tell you straight away yes or no. They won't tell you all the finer details of how to design it and how to make it fit, but they'll tell you yes, it can or cannot be done.
Okay, and then what's the next step?
Then the next step is to call somebody who knows what they're doing and say, this is the block I've bought or I've considered to buy. I want to put a dual occupancy on it. Then you start going down that process of what can we get on it, how many rooms, because some blocks and some councils have floor space restriction, so that's limited to the amount of floor space area you can build, which will then obviously limit to how many bedrooms you'll get into it and all those kinds of factors. So then you have to start looking deeper into each layer of the development controls and say, right, so I'm restricted to the height of the building, I'm restricted to the amount of floor space, floor area I can have. There could be the landscape area has to be a certain amount, which will mean that we restrict the overall footprint of the building on the site, which then affects obviously your area and how it's going to fit. So then you've got to start going through all those very small and detailed steps of, well, okay, I've got a block, the council said I can do it, but ultimately what can I really fit on it?
So it's not as easy as just reading through council regulation. It'd be easy to miss something and make a mistake if you're trying to do it yourself.
It's very hard because sometimes these control plans are like 100, 200 pages long. And so if you don't know what part to look at, then it could be a big problem. And if you don't know what part of the local environment plan, which is even a step above that, if you don't know where to look there, to look for potential fire issues, flooding area, if you don't know where to look for all those, acid sulfate soils could be an issue. You've got to really know where to look to figure out what are all the potential issues that you may have. And
that's something that you do for your clients all day, every day?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So basically, this is what we want and we help break it down for them.
So what would it cost me? So I ring you up or fill in a form on your website and I want to come to you and discuss, first of all, whether I can do it. So I've rung the council and I pretty much know I can. So I'm thinking I pretty much know I want to put an offer in to buy this block of land, but I'm still worried because I don't know what it's going to cost me to build. I don't know whether it's going to fit in my budget. Can you help me then with that next stage? Like, what is it going to cost me to come to you to just do a quick, what sort of budget am I looking at?
So it costs you nothing to come and sit down and talk to us. So you come, sit down, we'll spend an hour with you. We'll run through the do's and don'ts, and if you give me the address, obviously prior to, I can do a quick council search and highlight any potential issues that may come up for you, and give you a bit of an idea that this is possible, this is not possible. Then basically you tell me what your construction budget is realistically, and we always ask people to be open and honest with us about that. And then we can tell you based on that and based on our construction costs for a similar type of development, roughly what size you'll be able to get. And then from there you can reverse engineer it back to potential sale and then what your return could possibly be.
Okay, and will you help people work out those numbers as well?
Yeah, we can sit down with you and, as long as you're, obviously, like I said, as long as you're open and upfront about what your land costs are and all those kind of things, we can help you break down roughly what you can potentially walk away with, yeah.
Okay, cool. So, so we've got really 3 steps there. First step is to ring council, make sure you can develop it. The next step was to, really there's 2 steps, isn't there? There's then the next step would be to come and have a conversation with you and book in for a consultation with you.
Yeah.
It's not going to cost me anything to do that, but then I know I've got someone who knows what they're talking about and nothing's going to be missed.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and ultimately, even if you don't decide to get on board with us, we're still happy to give you that advice, knowing that you're going to make the right decision. So, we've given advice to people before that have gone down a different road, and we're happy to do that. Ultimately, it's just about making sure that if you're going to go and spend $500,000 on a property with a certain end game in mind, I want to make sure that you're going to get that, because sometimes you get the wrong advice, and if you've spent $500,000 on a block of land that you just will never be able to develop, well, then you're never going to make that kind of return. So
Yeah.
you essentially wasted your money and your time.